Welcome to Ralph's Fly Box. Today we're going to tie the CDC March Brown, or my version of the CDC March Brown. There are a lot of them out there. We start off with a size 14 standard dry fly hook and A-dot brown uni thread. Let's start our thread. Bring it back to the point. And then I'm going to bring it just about even with the point of the barb. The first thing we're going to do is tie in the tail. For this pattern I use 3 to 4 fibers, depending on how thick they are. I'm not worried about the fish count in the tail fibers. What I want is enough tail to support the fly. So I'm going to measure that the same length as the shank after we stack them and tie them in. And when I'm tying in moose hair, I like to tie in loose at the point of tie-in first, bring my thread forward, and then wrap back evenly with even pressure, because I don't want the moose hair necessarily to flare hard. And then the next material we're going to tie in is yellow flat waxed nylon thread. Get it untangled there. And we're going to wrap that back to the point of tie-in of the tail as well. Next we're going to use olive brown Orvis Spectra blend, and we're going to dub a small section onto your... I don't tie a bulky body with this. I like a fairly slender body with this, so I don't overdo it with the dubbing. And we'll bring our thread back. And then dub our body forward. And I'm going to come up to about 2/3 point of the shank. And then I'm going to hand twist the flat waxed, and I'm going to bring it forward. Evenly spaced, 3 to 4 wraps does it. Three to 4 wraps it'll show. And bring it around. And bind that down. Next we're going to tie in our hackle. For my hackle it's a borderline dark barred ginger or Cree. It all depends how you look at it. It does have some white in it. It's not a full Cree saddle. But I'm looking for the barring. I don't like to use 2 hackles for this. And we're going to pull a size 14 hackle off of this. We're going to tie this in dry fly fashion. Meaning dull side forward. And we're going to tie that in and bind it down. Now this fly is probably one of the only flies that I actually do X-wrap my hackle. I start off with one turn, then I cross over, and I bring it back, cross over, bring it back, and then that's 3 wraps, and then I bring it to the front and tie off. And clip off any flyers that I captured that are going to get in the way, obviously down the road. And give a couple extra wraps. Got one more that I captured there that I'm probably not going to be able to get out of the way. Then my next step is to come up on top and trim off my top. Don't be too particular. Just trim the top off. About a 30% section of the top. And then we're going to tie in our CDC. I use wood duck CDC. I use 2 feathers. Even the tips. Try and line them up as much as possible, quill wise. And then I sweep them forward. And I'm going to tie these in approximately shank length. They're going to get trimmed, so don't make them too short to start with. I'm going to tie it in about shank length. I'm going to give 3 wraps behind the eye. I'm going to pull them a little bit. I want to get them even with the shank because I don't want to use too much of the stiffer part of the quill. And then we're going to sweep them back. And I'm going to continue with thread wraps until I capture that CDC the way I want it. At this point, you're going to lift your CDC and at a 45-degree angle with your point of your scissors basically even with the back of the body, you're going to cut it off. And then finish your head. It's a fairly prominent head. Build it up to capture that CDC well. And then whip finish. And snip off anything that you captured. And then last but not least, and drop of Sally Hansen's. And there it is. The CDC March Brown. Very effective pattern for me. This is my primary done pattern during March Brown season, which is coming. Very simple to tie and very durable. Thank you very much. I hope it adds to your box. See you in the water.